Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is Monday morning. What is today, day? May 22nd. Guess what that means? It is Bitcoin Pizza Day, so make sure you guys go and get yourself a pizza. I forgot to mute my own thing here for YouTube, so I'm hearing all this in the background. This is very fun. You guys can't hear it, though. Make sure you guys go and get yourself a pizza. I know there's going to be lots of people in chat, of course, that I'm saying this are going to start talking about pineapple, but I just want to go ahead and get this out of the way. If you go and get pineapple on your pizza, I'll be upset, is the best way to put that, because pineapple does not belong on pizza. That is not the point of today's show, though. Today it is about celebrating one of the greatest stories we have ever had in Bitcoin, the $10,000 Bitcoin purchasing a pizza. Guess what, though, guys? We had a lot more to talk about when it comes to Bitcoin today, because Bitcoin, when we're looking at the charts, is sitting at a very, very, very critical place. Now, good news. We did not just start crashing after the Bitcoin conference ended. For those of you who did not know, usually, and I'm saying we've only seen 3 of them before, but usually we either start crashing during or right after a Bitcoin conference. But this year, we just moved sideways. What does this mean, and what could be happening very, very soon? Also, Ripple has itself a very brand new employee that could be massive for XRP. We'll be talking about that and a whole lot more. Make sure, though, you guys go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you love pizza. Today is should be really easy to smash that subscribe button, unless you're a vegan. To be fair, there is vegan pizza, I believe. Cannot believe it's anywhere near as delicious as normal pizza, but, you know, to each his own. T-Shroom, how are you doing this morning?
Well, I'm doing better than I deserve, Tim, and that's a fact. It's been true for a while, and it continues to be true by the grace of God. So I do have a quote for today, but I actually wanted to go ahead and give a little context to our pizza day, which is on this day in 2010, a man, Hanyez Laszlo, spent 10,000 Bitcoin on a Papa John's pizza, which was the first ever Bitcoin transaction. That Bitcoin is now worth 268 million, which is a testament to our never-ending mantra of hodl your Bitcoin. So that is going to be a little bit of context to the Pi Day here that we're celebrating. It's always a lot of fun. And look at that fun little GIF there. But we got another quote here, which is from Kennedy. Said, "A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on." John F. Kennedy. And that idea, of course, that he was anticipating was Bitcoin. So that's how I'm doing. That's kind of what's going on in my brain. And back to you, Tim.
You know, T-Shroom, do we potentially have a picture of the pizza that, again, his name is very hard to pronounce. Do we have a picture of what he purchased? Because I'll be danged if there's freaking pineapple on the pizza that he purchased. And I believe that we should purchase the same exact style that he bought. And this is going to come back to bite me really hard if there is pineapple on that pizza. But I thought I've seen a picture of it, and I don't believe pineapple's on it.
T-Shirt, I thought it was just a pepperoni pizza.
I very much am hoping it is. Do some research on that T-shirt. See if you can get a picture while I introduce Mr. Army Piper back from his vacay, despite the fact that he still worked on it. How are you doing, Piper?
Man, I'm doing great, brother. I am back from my vacation. I'm back home in my my war room here, ready to get into some trades this week and watching the charts. And glad to be back with the bros in their appointed places of duty. I'm reporting for duty, sir. I'm here. Let's go.
Come on. Well, we're going to talk more a little bit because you got back from your vacay. I got back from what was very much not so a vacay. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit later on the show. I was down there for the conference in Miami. I didn't go to the conference, which, to be fair, I didn't really want to go to the conference. Bitcoin conferences themselves, kind of iffy. The people, though, we did have an amazing Investing Bros meetup. We went and had dinner. What night was that? Thursday night, I believe. Phenomenal stuff. Who was there? We had Alchemist was there. Crypto Alchemist was there. We had Crypto Set Guy was there. Agent Gold was there. Who else did we have? We had Elliot Locke was there. Kelly Kellum came and had dinner with us. And Brad Geidel also. I believe that's, I'm trying to visualize and remember the people sitting around the table. I'm pretty sure that was it. But it was a great night, great dinner, great fun. Next year, though, I'm super excited. I don't know if anyone heard this. I put in the chat the poll, though, so you shouldn't be too surprised. They announced that Bitcoin 2024 will be held in Nashville, which I am very much looking forward to. I've never been in Nashville. So you guys need to go ahead. I've heard if you were to buy tickets right now, like I know most people don't know what their schedule looks like a year from now, but if you buy tickets right now, it's like only $100 or a couple $100 to go to the conference. It might be super cheap because this last one, I heard rumors, even though I wasn't there, I heard this was the least attended Bitcoin conference of all of them. Granted, we're in a bear market, but so was the one back in 2019. Technically, we had just had a massive rally, though. We were sitting back up around $13,000 at the time. That was really, really impressive. But yeah, not a lot of people excited about the conference this year. Next year, I think it'll be a little better, but I'm very excited not to have to go back down to Miami, but instead driving up to Nashville. Would love to see you guys there. I don't have a link or anything, but if you guys are seriously considering going, go ahead and start looking for those tickets because you're going to save a lot of money buying them right now rather than waiting like 10 months and buying them next year. But speaking of people I want to see next year, let's read some names of those people. Starting off with our first two commenters of the day. I gotta have those ones ready because otherwise I don't see them because I put these polls in here. But shout out to a mellow fellow and Mr. J, our first two commenters of the day. And right behind them, we have Mr. Joe Nickel and Gia S. Thank you so much, guys. Great to see you in here. 88 Ace is also here this morning. Mike Play, DJ Monty. Who else? Sharon? Chaorn. That's Sharon, right? It still should be Sharon, even though it has a C instead of an S. But Sharon, oh gosh. Valio. Yeah, we're gonna keep moving on. Crypto Pew Pew Cruz is here. Brian, Crypto JMP, Mike Lowry, Crypto Alchemist. He is here. Okay, Crypto Alchemist is here. Great seeing him again. And even get to meet him in person was great. That's one of my favorite things, by the way, guys, about conferences. I love conferences when I get to meet you guys. So that's why I want you guys to go to Nashville next year because the only reason I want to go is to see your faces. Who else do we have here this morning? Crypto Trades is here. Justin Eubanks is here. Crux of Crypto with the blue wrench. Who else do we have? You got Ninja Glock is here. TJ's Chicken Salad. Is it good? Would you, T-Shirt, would you eat TJ's Chicken Salad?
I'll tell you what, Tim, I'd have to try it first before I had a full serving of it, but I would probably at this point, I would say yes.
Yeah, I like chicken salad. Who else do we have here? Wind Peoples is here. Indie Rock Crypto is here. We're going to a couple more, and then we'll move on with the show. Sir Mugiwara, I'm pretty sure they told us before how to pronounce that, and I butchered it again. Maddie123, OBC, and last one I'm going to read, John Foster Crypto. Oh, I got to read the one right above him because I didn't read this one. Crypto Meme. Thank you to everybody who's here. We got 94 people watching right now. And guess what? I know there were some names I did not read. It does not mean that I don't love you. It just means it's time to jump in with our content for today because we do have a lot to cover, starting off with looking at the macroeconomic outlook with Mr. Army Piper. So, Piper, go ahead and tell us what should we be expecting either today or the next couple of days when it comes to the economic front.
Awesome, Tim. Let's do that. Yeah, I got to get my little macro news. There we go. We're clicked on the macro news here. It's looking at the trading economics calendar today, guys. Just a bunch of speeches today. A bunch of old, crusty farts from the Federal Reserve talking today. Not sure what any of them are going to be talking about. I'm sure that it's going to be how great the banking system is and how they're on the right track and everything's fine and hunky-dory. So, don't buy crypto, but they're all going to be wrong like they always are. So that's what we're looking at there today. Looking at Tuesday, moving on here. We got another Fed speech coming in and then some S&P global stuff coming in. New home sales is coming in. So that's kind of a decent deal. Let's see what these new home sale prices are doing. Are they going down? Are they going up? We will find out tomorrow. New home sales month over month expected to be down 0.2% or 2%, I should say, on the forecast. So that will be interesting if that's the case, because that'll bring it down to a 7.6% on the new home prices. So what else do we got? New home sales there tomorrow also for the year. And then we're going to be looking over at Wednesday. Wednesday, we got FOMC minutes. That's our first big one coming in this week, Tim. And what that's going to do is it's going to be the breakdown, the transcript of the actual words, verbatim of what was said at the FOMC last month. And so, a bunch of smart people, smarter than me, will jump into that, try to break it down and see what he was trying to say versus what he actually said. And, sometimes they find some interesting stuff in there. So we're watching for that on Wednesday. There might be a little bit of volatility come out of that. If it looks like they said, man, why did he say that word? This word here is a lot more bullish or bearish, right? So watch that. Initial jobless claims could be coming in on Thursday. Previously is at 242,000 jobs claimed lost for unemployment. Consensus and forecast is going to be 245,000, both of them indicating that we had more jobs lost this week than last week. So keep an eye on that. And then Friday is going to be our first big day. We're going to get our personal spending month over month, personal income month over month. We're going to see what that pay scale is like for the labor force, and then durable goods and core PCE price index for month over month coming in there with the year over year. So that's what we're looking at, Tim, on the calendar there for this week. Jumping over to Truflation, let's give it a little refreshy here. Yep, still sitting at 3.04%. No changes there on the Truflation. Remember, this is the data that is processed and put together, if you will, by the old methodology that the Fed Reserve used to use. So if we were going by the way that they used to calculate inflation, we would be at 3% right now, which is really low in comparison to what we really are at. So that is what we're saying, because Fed Reserve has us as almost 5% still. So I don't know who to believe. Do you believe the Federal Reserve, or do you believe a bunch of smart people doing it the old way? I'm going to go with the smart people doing it the old way, not the old crusty people that have, messaging is their goal, not actual data. So back to you, Tim.
Yeah, that is very interesting. When you talk about old people doing it the right way, noticing that the inflation they had here before was way higher than what the United States government was projecting as well. So it is good seeing inflation go down. I don't know if I believe that that really inflation is done, though, especially with some news we'll probably talk about here in just a couple of minutes. But let's go take a quick look at that CME futures tool, talking about the FOMC meeting. Go ahead and go to my screen here. Now, there was a little bit of volatility this morning, guys, because when I first checked this, we actually had an 86% chance that we'd be pausing. It dropped all the way to 72. Let me refresh it again. Currently sitting at 74. Let's see what we got. Okay, back up to 76. So we're moving our way back up. But as Piper even reminded me in the planning meeting, seeing it over 70% is a good sign, because there were times last week it started to approach 50% that we'd actually get another 25 basis points. Technically, that is still in the cards. I think it'll be really important to hear what the FOMC meetings release. But for right now, it does seem like we're moving back towards the concept of pausing and interest rate hikes are done. The question is just how long do we keep them? Let's take a quick look and see when is the first time they actually project that we should pause. Even right now in September, this is a movement. 54% are saying we should still be sitting in this spot in November. Let's take a look to see, is November the first time? Yes. So right now, 46% are predicting November is the first time we see a rate cut. And then December, it's now saying we should be ending the year about 450 to 475. This is a little bit higher than the last time we checked this out. Here about 2 weeks ago, we were looking at, most people believed in December we'd be down to 425 to 450. So that is adjusting. The problem is, though, there's a lot still left to be decided. Even for this next meeting, we still have almost an entire month. We got 23 days, a little over 3 weeks before we get our next decision. Let's take a look, though, at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index this morning, coming in at about 49 in the neutral zone. Yesterday, it was sitting at 52. And we'll go ahead and take a look over here at the chart. Before I jump too much into the chart, though, I want to make sure you guys know we have a channel partner here. You guys see them. You guys love them. You guys know them. But Chart Prime, we want to say a special thank you to Chart Prime for being a special partner of the Investing Bros channel. I'm going to be real with you guys. Go to my face here really quickly here, Piper. We would probably not be still doing this if Chart Prime wasn't so amazing. So if you guys don't just want a great indicator for yourself, that's not the whole reason. Even just to show support for an amazing product and this community, if it was not for Chart Prime, it'd be very hard for us to continue to do what we do on the daily basis. So special shout out to Chart Prime. Go support them, support us. And while you're doing it, you're going to get a phenomenal indicator that helps you trade at a crazy level. Let's go back to the charts here. I'm going to show you guys some things happening over here on Bitcoin. that kind of sit in a spot. The title today is a little bit in the middle. We're not necessarily sitting very bullish. We're not necessarily sitting very bearish. And I'm going to start off by going all the way down to the 2-hour chart here. You guys are going to see with our dynamic reactor, this is the Chart Prime dynamic reactor. We have been sitting here back since the May 23rd. We've been using this as resistance. At the same time, we are setting higher lows still. What do we call this type of a formation? We call this a symmetrical triangle pattern. If I go up to the 4-hour chart, just so I can remove that, I'm going to show you the 12-hour chart here in a second too. But you guys, if we were going to draw a trend line right here, starting back on May 23rd, if we were to grab the trend line tool, there we go, and we were to come down, there's a couple of things we're looking at here. Symmetrical triangle patterns that come from bearish price movement traditionally, and that's the key word here, traditionally, because it doesn't always happen this way, but they traditionally break to the downside. Well, what's another formation right now? And I just grabbed my trend signal, but I want to show you guys, if we zoom out here, let's go out to the 12-hour chart, where we're also seeing some resistance from our 12-hour dynamic reactor. What are we sitting in a more macro time scale? We're looking at a falling trading channel. We talked about this over the last couple of weeks. The resistance level we're kind of looking up here, sitting closer towards 28,000. Now we're coming down to the blue line. If we were to come back down and touch this blue line, we're looking lower than 25,200. But of course, we have that very strong 25.2 sitting here with our green line. Let's go back to the 4-hour chart and let's take a look. Let's just say the symmetrical triangle pattern were to break to the downside. What you want to do is you want to measure the entry of the symmetrical triangle pattern and move it over to the last touch. Guess what this would do for us, guys? This would bring the price back down here to about 25,400, give or take, sitting kind of close to that green level right there, 25.2. So I'm not ready to declare with any type of certainty we are breaking to the downside. Again, these symmetrical triangle patterns traditionally break to the downside, but they sometimes move to the upside as well, especially when you have things like this right here, where on our 4-hour chart, we did get a green reversal triangle. But the question is, do we move to the upside or the downside? Same thing. Let's take that same measurement of the entry of this formation and let's move it to the upside. Let's say we found support. Oh, would you look at that? It would send us right back up to our level of resistance here on the falling trading channel. A big move is coming for Bitcoin, guys. A big move is coming. The question is in which direction, especially you're looking at, I think it starts here on the 4-hour chart. Yeah, we're getting some contraction. We've actually had our Bollinger Bands being contracted here on the 4-hour chart, but even as you start to move up, let's go up to the 8-hour chart. We're getting some contraction here, and I believe it goes even all the way to our 12-hour chart. One thing about Bollinger Bands, as you guys can see, going back in time, when you get this level of constriction, big moves are coming. Now, the problem with Bollinger Bands being used alone is they don't necessarily tell you to the upside or to the downside. You guys can see back here in April, of course, we had a big move to the upside. Now, just because we're seeing a contraction does not mean we move to the upside. We very well could see a breakout to the downside. But either way, something big is coming. You guys are looking at the low volume that's been here on Bitcoin over the last couple of weeks as well. That's another sign. As we're constricting in this price range, we're moving sideways, the volume's coming in low. That is not going to last for a very long time. There's going to be a bull or a bear or a couple of them that get together and make that explosive move. And I would not be surprised, guys. I would not be surprised to see us shoot in either direction. Here's what I'm going to still hold on to, though. Moving out to our daily chart, I'm going to go ahead and hold to the fact that I do believe we're still moving to the upside. Even in that bearish scenario, let's say we break down to that 25.2. It's not just the strong level of support that we've had ever since this strong resistance back in August of 2022. It's also where our dynamic reactor is here on the daily chart. And what I'm looking for here, guys, look over here, where our last signal we got on this amazing oscillator, which I haven't talked about as much recently because there haven't been major flashes. But the last major flash on the daily chart we got of overbought mixed with that red reversal triangle, that called the top perfectly. When we hit 31,000, that was our last major signal. And we have been coming to the downside. But guess what? Very, very soon, I'm expecting on the daily chart, watch this week or the next week. I'm going to give this about 2 weeks window. I'm going to be looking for another oversold flash. I think it's coming very soon. The question is, do we move a little sideways and break the support line? I would not be surprised to see it come down, touch that dynamic reactor, touch 25.2. We get our buy flash, and then we not only have our next touch here on the support level, we end up breaking the upside, break through the falling trading channel, which traditionally moves to the upside when it eventually breaks out, and we start to make our climb. Now, before I move on from Bitcoin, I will go back and say, A lot of you guys have been watching for a while, and we've been talking about the potential of a $50,000 price for Bitcoin, all talking about kind of going back to the fractal we had back in 2019. And I'm not ready yet. I said this before. I'm not closing the door completely on a $50,000 Bitcoin this year. I know some people have predicted still we end the year on 50,000. I am moving away from that high prediction, though, guys. I think my odds and my probability of us getting back up to a golden pocket, just in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, let's talk about this 2019 fall real quickly. This is the bull market we had back in 2017, the bear market of 2018, and then the false bull market rally in 2019 right here in June. We came back up to the golden pocket, sitting here about 13,850. And I discussed very heavily in the last couple of weeks how similar of moves we'd made in the bottoms as we made this rally, and we were looking very similar. However, this price, you can see, does not make its way back down to former resistance level and turn into support. It kind of hesitates and then moves to the upside. Well, when we move back into our current timeline, again, it's not impossible, but we definitely dipped lower than we really should have. The case for 50,000 for Bitcoin was to do the exact same thing. Did not grab my Fibonacci there. Come on now. Was to do the exact same thing we did back in 2019. Have our little boring sideways movement at the bottom, but then break up here to this golden pocket. You guys can see that says 49,400. The top of it says 50,100. I just don't know if that's going to happen. What I do think could happen, though, guys, in this kind of pre-bull market rally that still is going to have a dip coming, I think 25.2 it's going to take a lot to break 25.2 ever again. However, do not be surprised to see us come back down, touch it, and then maybe make a push up here to 36 and maybe trade sideways before one wick jumps up above 42, comes back down, and then we start making our way back down. And then later on this year, early 2024, that's when we really start the real bull market rally. That's kind of where I'm moving to. I'm not giving up completely, but I'm giving up heavy amounts of hope that we see a $50,000 Bitcoin. And that's okay. This is all part of trading. This is all part of investing. Is you make plans, you make predictions, and then you continue to monitor what is happening, not only on the charts, but in the news and in the timeline, and you adjust those plans accordingly. That's all I'm doing right here, guys. I'm still looking. I'm not shorting Bitcoin. I'm not freaking out and saying, uh-oh, here we go, new lows incoming. I'm saying, all right, instead of looking for take profit areas in the $48,000 to $50,000 region, I'm really more now looking in the 36 to 42K region. That is just me. You guys continue to do your own research and look for yourselves. Let's move and look at the Dixie real quickly, because it did some things we talked about last week. I just didn't think it was going to happen this quickly, and I kind of had a lower probability of it happening. Come on now. I don't want to be drawn here. Give me there we go. But sure enough, it's doing almost exactly what we kind of talked about, worst case scenario. It did break this former resistance, but I told you guys, keep an eye on this falling dynamic reactor here on the daily chart. Keep your eyes in the $103 region. Sure enough, that's exactly what we're seeing. We didn't quite touch it, but you guys can see we didn't really touch it back here the other time either. Let's take a look at our SMAs real quickly and see here. Right now, we broke above the 100 SMA on the daily chart. We're currently using it as support, but what we see coming in here again, this is a major flash right here, and everything from a sentiment and news perspective is saying the dollar, this is kind of a fake out pump, like almost like a going out of sale pump before the dollar starts to fall again. We have on the daily chart this red triangle and our overbought orange flash. Don't be surprised if we see another good flash up again as we see Bitcoin. Let me go back over here. If we do see Bitcoin drop down here to dynamic reactor 25.2, it would not be crazy to see Dixie make one more good pump up to the dynamic reactor, come up to that 103.60, 103.80 cent region, and then we get our little rejection right there. It moves back down to the downside. Bitcoin moves to the upside. That could be happening here very, very soon. There's a lot happening on charts this morning, but I want to throw it over to Piper to kind of take us into Ethereum, because there's some interesting things happening there. And I think, Piper, you wanted to start with the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart and then make your way into what's happening on Ethereum's chart, and that'll wrap up our crypto TA for the day.
Cool. All right. So I did not have that one pulled up yet, but I can go pull it up. I thought you were going to go do that one when you're doing Bitcoin, but let me go ahead and pull it up here. Well, because I said it would be a good segue into Ethereum. So let me go ahead and pull up here. BTC, ETH, BTC. There it is on Coinbase. Let's go to that. And where are you? See, you threw a wrench at me there, and I did not duck, dodge, dip, dive. There we go. ETH BTC. Looking at ETH BTC here. Yeah, guys. So right now, if I turn off this chart pattern, you can see that we already broke it there, but I want to pull it here. And there is a wedge going on here. Looking, I think it's from this point here that I had it pulled up. Yeah, there it is. We are now sitting above that wedge right now. So let me pull that in here, the top line, and let me do the bottom line here. And let's show you what we're working with. There we go. We are sitting above on a breakout right now for the ETH Bitcoin. So this is one thing that I'm looking at that I think is pretty bullish for Ethereum price, at least. But it also means Bitcoin can be going up too with it, just Ethereum at a higher rate. But one thing that concerns me when I look at the chart here, Tim, is the oscillator. And right now it's starting to get really tight here. And typically when we see this tightness come in, a big move comes right afterwards, such as here. Also, and we've had it up higher back here. So when we're looking at it right now, I do see that there is a potential for this to be a fake out and break back down in. I'm looking at a 4-hour chart right now, but I wanted to show that we did break this this wedge here, and we're now retesting it. But what I want to show you on Ethereum is, let me bring it up here now. Ethereum's got some things going on. And one thing that I've been watching over here is, let me bring this in just a little bit to match up because I'm OCD and it has to be on the edge of my picture there. There we go. Perfect. All right. So one thing that I'm watching here, guys, we're below this dynamic reactor, and the dynamic reactor is starting to push in really tight onto the top here on the price on the 4-hour. And if we look at where we are in the fib lines that I've been watching for a while, we're sitting just below the 786. It's been our rejection here going all the way back now to 14 May. So about a week now, we've been rejected off of the 786 on the platinum pocket here. Couple of the things that I am watching though is if I turn off that fib and I throw on to the fixed range volume profile here, it's that point of control is lining up there also. So there's a lot of volume where we are right now, guys, a ton. All of the point of control is hitting right here on this. And you can see that if we end up breaking down here, we do have a small little ledge right here that we could catch on. And that's going to be just like right here in the range of what we've been in. It's going to be hitting down below that one where we really had the fall. But if we break above this level here and we can get above the dynamic reactor on here, we have a huge, nice gap that brings us all the way back here up to about 1870. So fixed range volume profile looks a lot easier to go up than it does to go down at this point. But here's where I'm watching now on Ethereum when we're looking at that ETH BTC. So like how quickly could ETH have a breakout here, guys? That's going to be based on my wedge here. Where are we at? Triangle. Turn that on. Bam. Guys, we're like, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 24 hours away. We're sometime in the next 24 hours, we will have a breakout on this symmetric triangle here. And I do want to point out a couple of things. You can see how flat the MACD is on price on Ethereum right now, running just super flat. I've got to actually zoom it in here and get other things to go off the screen to see just how flat Ethereum has been running. The RSI, same thing. We're right here on that 50% line, looking super flat right here, with sitting above the signal line on the RSI, just running in here. We could literally have the entire distance down or the entire distance up for how this breaks out of here. I tend to believe that this is probably going to break to the upside if I really had to do that based on the fixed range volume profile. And another piece that I have on that to show why I'm thinking that is, we are in the lower half of the trade band on the predictive ranges of Chart Prime's predictive ranges here, which I love to trade these 2 gold lines there. It looks like the delta has been our point of rejection also, which is just heavy resistance confluence with that point of control and sitting there with that 786 on the fibs. If I drop them all together here, you'll see nice, tight little just confluence of resistance there, right? Let me bring up the last thing that I want to show you here, and I'm going to throw on this group and my chart patterns, guys. What this is here is, why did it do that to me? Okay, I guess it was on the 12-hour. No, it was on the 4-hour. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn this off. But what this is here, guys, this is a triangle that we have running here, and you can see Head and Shoulders here. I'm sorry, Head and Shoulders here came up, down, made the patterns. Chart Patterns called it perfectly. This is the trend line right here. And so I don't confuse you. Let me turn that off. This is the trend line here. We're retesting the trend line. A breakup on this would put us up about 1925 if this continues to the upside. And if I look at 1925 with my fibs, it's going to be the top of the platinum pocket. I tend to think that this is going to go to the upside sometime in the next 24 to 30 hours, Tim. That's what I'm seeing here. Looking at the head and shoulders pattern, inverse head and shoulders pattern that printed here on the Chart Patterns and on the breakout point of that. One other thing that I want to bring up on charts today, I want to show you guys what's going on with XRP because we got a little bit in the news. So this has been running pretty hot going starting the 16th here of May. We just had a nice pump up. It rejected off of the 618. Hold back down below the dynamic reactor. Once it retested support here, it's been trading pretty much in the golden pocket the whole time. We even came down for another little retest here on the dynamic reactor before pulling back into here. It's finding a lot of support. And we just got a ribbon twist with a nice wide cloud on the oscillator here to give us indication of more upside. So I think XRP, looking at the MACD, looking at the oscillator, and looking at the golden pocket, and I think Ethereum, looking at the Fibonacci's, where we have all that support range at right now, and given that that fixed range volume profile has such a big gap in it, I do think XRP and Ethereum both have upside sometime in the next, like I said, 24 to 30 hours, possibly 2 days full, just depending on what comes out in information. The only thing that concerns me with XRP currently is that we do have this nice little curvature here on the RSI, which could bring us back down. But again, I think that if we do come back down, we're still going to find support sitting on the dynamic reactor, Tim. So that's what I have there, man.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with that. I think it's going to be interesting. Last thing I'll show you is here XRP on the Fibonacci level. Don't be surprised to see XRP fall back down to the golden pocket after hitting its head here on 0.5. But I think we could see, I think you're right. I think as we're seeing these things start to climb, this is the daily chart right here. Kind of a touch there on the daily dynamic reactor again, and kind of a up and go signal here. I'm not going to be surprised, guys, to see almost everything dip first. Like we showed you on Bitcoin, like he showed you on Ethereum. We saw the dollar, the DXY has a little room to the upside. Don't be surprised to see things take a small fall. Again, volume on almost everything is really low right now. And then real rallies come here just a little bit later. But you can go ahead and go off my screen here, Piper, because it is time to go. You're going to come right back to it in a second. But it's time to move into our community updates. And I'm sure we have a couple of announcements. I know T-Shroom has one that he is very excited about not doing, but he has to do it anyway, that he's going to be doing here in a couple of weeks. But let's check in here. This is kind of a new thing. We want to kind of just engage with you guys because you guys are the community. Kind of want to shout out and how great you guys have been. But first things first, we have right now over 100 people watching. We were pushing towards, I think we were at 150 at one point or close to it. Only 71 likes though. So make sure you guys go ahead and smash that like button. Let's take a look at what's happening here. Go ahead and go to my screen again, Piper here. We are sitting right now at 3,285 subscribers. This is amazing, but we've got to start kicking this into high gear. You guys know that we have a goal by the end of June to go ahead and hit that 4,000 subscriber goal. So we need you guys to go ahead. You guys, most of you guys watching are probably already subscribed. If you are not, be a part of growing this number, but also go share this channel with your friends, with your family. If you guys love the Investing Bros, you guys need to share it with everyone you know, and we need to get this number shooting up here very, very soon. Over on our Discord, we did get above our 205 that I talked about last week when I gave you guys a challenge. You guys did great. Let's start pushing towards 300. If you guys are not in our free Investing Bros Discord, you absolutely need to. Like, I've asked questions on Twitter all the time. I do my absolute best, and we're talking about Twitter here in a second, to answer all the questions you guys ask me. But can I tell you guys right now, for everything I don't know, every time I have a question, I go to this Investing Bros Discord, even the free version, even in the general chat that everyone has access to. The amount of answers that I get from questions I have about crypto, or the amount of other questions I see people have that people in our community know, I don't know why it's still freaking out. What the heck? Oh, well. I mean, it's just something weird happened over there. You guys can ask just about anything, and I guarantee you somebody in our community knows what's going on. Make sure you're in this Discord. Make sure you are following this Twitter account right here, Investing Bros, at Investing Bros. We got them up 200. So again, you guys did what I asked. Let's keep going there. I know we got a lot of people watching right now that are probably not even subscribed to this channel. Go subscribe right now to Investing Bros, at Investing Bros over on Twitter. Let's see where I'm sitting this morning. I'm sitting at 8,348. This is so hard. There's so many freaking bots out there on Twitter. I'll like jump up to like 10,000 and then I'll fall back down. And then at one point I was up at 13,000 and then, yeah, Elon's doing his best, but there's still a lot of bots on there. Make sure you guys are following me. I try to post at least once a day. You guys can see the latest edition right here. Least successful bro on Around the Blockchain. My record just pales in comparison to these other two fine gentlemen. Speaking of these other two fine gentlemen, T Shroom with that very nice and sexy picture right there at Jarrell. We'll talk more about that in a second. He's sitting at 4,500. Let's get him over 5,000 here very, very soon, guys. Let's see where Army Piper's at.
You don't have to show mine. You don't have to show mine. Mine's weak. I got weak sauce Twitter followers, man.
we are going to get this up very soon. Please, right now, guys, go. If you have a Twitter, go follow all of these accounts at Army Piper, at T Shroom, at Tim's_TA, and at Investing Bros. It would be amazing. That is our community check-in of the day. We are going to see these accounts continue to grow. Thank you to every single one of you guys who are subscribed to the channel. You can go off my screen now, Piper. Who are subscribed to the channel or following all of these accounts. You guys are the reasons why we continue to get up and do what we do. But speaking of reasons why we get up and do what we do, T Shroom, you're about to have another get up and go do something big that you are. How are you feeling about your trip here starting June 1st?
Yeah, guys. So if you go to my screen, Piper, I've got some pictures pulled up. So June 1st through the 18th, I will be attending this hellish event. This is called OCS Phase 1. It's a part of the U.S. Army training to become an officer in the Army, specifically to be a lieutenant. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be very difficult to get through. Just kind of showing you guys some of the images here. This one was pretty funny. And I've been training for it, so I'm physically ready, but there's a high rate of failure. So we'll see if I can make it through. So be praying for me and things like that. But yeah, so through the 18th, I will be doing that, and it's going to be very intense. And I will not be on the show at all. I won't have my phone. I won't be in the Discord, unfortunately. I will be dragging my face through the mud and getting yelled at about how I'm a quitter and how I'm a loser and how I'll never amount to anything. But I will rise from the ashes,
hey,
and hopefully become stronger. All right, that's going to be my community update. Is I won't be here in the first basically 2 weeks of June, which sucks, but I will be gaining muscles and confidence and strategic skills to be able to defend my country. And
here's what I say. Here's what I'm going to say. If you are able to do so, obviously anyone who is injured or if there's something that's keeping you going, for solidarity with T Shroom, T Shroom, will do 100 push-ups a day while you are gone. I'm not going to run anywhere near as much as you're running because I hate running. Honestly, I'm just going to be real with it. But I can do the push-up portion. And I'm going to stick to 100. My pledge is 100 push-ups a day. In chat, if you are willing to do 100 push-ups a day with T Shroom, put a 1 in chat for our solidarity with our bro. Last update. So this is going to be crazy because T Shroom's going to be gone.
Hold on.
Wait,
I will not be doing push-ups with you, T Shroom. I will not.
Okay,
I've done push-ups for 21 and a half years. And I will not be doing push-ups with you, but I will cheer you on, and I will be here every day to tell people what I imagine you're going through because I've been there, done that. So you got this, T Shroom. You got it.
He does got it. It's going to be fun because while T Shroom is gone, obviously, and we're going to miss him a lot, it's going to be me and Piper running the show. Hopefully, the T Shroom's leaving, and for those who don't know, Taylor Warren in chat, she's one of our blue wrenches. That is my wife. No disrespect to T Shroom, but she is the more beautiful of the two Taylors in my life. But she's getting ready to pop like any day now. We're about to have our first. Brody is going to be his name.
Let's go.
one of his
Let's go.
onesies. It's awesome. Usually you get these onesies for like when you have a second child. So you put your second older child like the best bro or whatever. But of course, since we're the investing bros, he has a onesie that says best bro. So I can't wait for you guys to be able to see that one as well. So if that baby does come, I don't think I'm going to be taking like a whole week or two off or anything like that. But I probably will take a couple of shows off after the baby is born. Definitely be going light. But that's what's happening in our community. Again, thank you to everybody who is here. Make sure you guys stay supportive while T-Shroom's gone. If I'm gone for a little bit, you guys keep tuning in. Piper's always delivering the alpha, even if we're not here. That's why he is on the team. With that said, though, let's throw it to T-Shroom and his section, the market open. What do you have for us this morning on the stocks front, T-Shroom?
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and make it happen and check out, as we always do, energy. Energy coming in lower today. Natural gas futures contracts down 4.8%. The natural gas ETF down about the same amount. And oil down 0.25%. So coming in just a quarter lower there. The indexes are coming in higher. Indexes getting bought here. The Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and the S&P all coming in about the same, up about 0.3% there. The Dow Jones lagging up 0.2%. So that is going to be energy and the indexes. Let's take a look here at crypto. Crypto across the board looking pretty green, baby. Getting a nice little open here. AGIX down 3%. It had a big pump. I've actually got its chart pulled up right here. OC Guy and I last week in TA Talks over on the Chart Prime Discord, we actually identified this trade channel here that AGIX was starting to range. We pulled that up and boom, had a big breakout and then got rejected on the top end of the dynamic reactor there. That's AGIX now giving up that ground and trying to get repriced to a little bit lower there. So, but we do see a ton of green on the screen this morning, including Dogecoin up 1%. Let's see, Link is up 2.2%. Tron has had a monster morning. I think it was up as much as 6%, but it's up now 3.1. ADA doing real well, up 2% there to 36 cents. Very nice looks for the majority of crypto here, even BNB moving up 0.7% there. So we'll keep moving. Things are looking good on the crypto front. Let's see what's going on with metals. Silver here. The silver contracts are down, as well as the gold spot is also down. So there is definitely some movement lower here for gold and silver. So that's an interesting little bit of a rotation. While crypto is up, you're starting to see gold not keep up with crypto as much, at least today. And as you can see here on the daily chart, gold has been selling off, has been kind of retreating from pushing against those highs up at 2000, is now probably coming back, reloading a little bit, finding some nice support here at 1950. So we'll see what happens there for gold. Moving back into our mega cap tech stocks. Here we go, guys. Google leading the way higher, up 2.3%. Meta up 2% despite getting some regulatory issues over in Europe. I've not pulled up that story. You guys can go look at it for yourself. There's too much crypto content to cover today in the news section. But Meta is bucking that bearish news over in Europe. It's European departments. Apple is red, Amazon is red, but not by very much. Those are probably names that are good dip buyers this morning. Tesla up 1.8. Let's go ahead and round it out here with bonds, and bond yields are coming up higher pretty much across the board. And goodness gracious, the 2-year has just lurched ahead. Now it's up to 4.3% on those 2-year notes. So that's pretty bad. And it's even worse on the shorter dated, the monthlies, the 3 and the 6 monthlies there. So won't do too much commentary there. That's just the facts, guys. If you know bonds, then you know that that's getting more screwed up and not moving in the right direction. Tilray, cannabis, MJ, cannabis also looking green this morning. Your mid-cap tech stocks are green across the screen with DraftKings and C3.ai up more than 3% this morning. Very nice. Big banks are all pretty much green across the screen. Goldman Sachs getting sold here down 0.2%. And your oil producers generally getting bought, getting higher this morning. So pretty much nothing too much to report here. The bonds are probably the biggest story because that 2 year is kind of getting out of control here, up to 4.3. And if you know, you know, that is a pretty bad movement there from the bond. So that's gonna wrap out our market open, guys. We're gonna go ahead and do a quick pivot into our stories here, and we're gonna start with your boy. Joe Biden says he's not willing to strike a deal with crypto traders. This is within the context of this debt ceiling conversation. U.S. President Joe Biden has said he is not willing to ink a deal ceiling, ink a debt ceiling agreement that would benefit crypto traders. He said, "I'm not going to agree to a deal that protects wealthy tax cheats and crypto traders while putting food assistance at risk for nearly 1 million Americans." There he is saying that at the G7 Summit 2023. So speaking of the debt ceiling, I've done what I've been really enjoying here. To cover the debt ceiling is just go ahead and just search debt ceiling and see what the headlines are saying, because it's kind of hard to track exactly what's going on. CNN, Biden and McCarthy to discuss debt ceiling Monday as staff level talks resume. MSNBC says a dangerous debt ceiling deadline nears, GOP moving backward. Biden McCarthy try to get debt ceiling deal done. CNBC says stock inch higher as traders monitor debt ceiling talks, live updates. And Axios says Biden McCarthy to meet Monday for debt ceiling talks. So it looks like there's something going down today. Things have been moving in the wrong direction. And I remember last week things were moving in the right direction. So, this is exactly what you would expect to happen with these debt ceiling talks, guys, is they're just dragging it out. All these media companies are selling ads. And ultimately it's probably it's going to be a nothing burger. So we shall see. Not a complete nothing burger, but that gets more complicated. Moving into a presidential candidate here that doesn't disappoint. Presidential candidate Kennedy vows to defend Bitcoin against invasive surveillance. And we're going to go pretty deep on this one, guys, so hang tight. He said, "We live in a time now that technology has dangerously expanded the capacity for governments and corporations to control our lives. Distant and impersonal multinationals and authoritarian technologies have usurped realms of human activity that were once private or held by the community." Goes on to say that free money is as important to freedom as free expression. So that's really interesting takeaway there. During his keynote address, Kennedy took aim at President Joe Biden's proposed 30% tax on energy use for Bitcoin miners, saying it would require an invasive surveillance apparatus to monitor mining energy usage. And then lastly, it sets a terrible precedent in which everything that you do that requires electricity must now be monitored by the government, Kennedy said, adding that he would support people's rights to refuse smart meters in their homes. Not really crypto, but I thought that was pretty interesting and somewhat important. As President Kennedy told the audience, "I will make sure that your rights to hold and use Bitcoin is inviolable, and I will defend the rights of self-custody." I'd never heard that word before. It basically means unbreakable. Never heard that word. It was pretty interesting find this morning. I don't think, lastly here, guys, I told you it was going to be in depth. It is. I don't think the government has the right to demand access to your Bitcoin key or indeed any of your passwords, Kennedy said. To say otherwise is to cede essential territory to the surveillance state. The whole point of Bitcoin is that it's decentralized, Kennedy said. Anyone can run a node, and it's important not only for your Bitcoin, but for democracy to be decentralized. So Kennedy definitely saying a lot of the right things there, resonating with the crypto community that we all love and know very well. Going to keep moving along here. Crypto hiring. Ripple gets a new board member with priors at Amazon and NBC. So Ripple notched a victory by getting the Hinman speech documents unsealed. So they're already kind of on the heels of victory here very recently. But now Ripple has just added experienced financial executive Warren Jensen to its board of directors. Jensen serves as the CFO for 4 different multi-billion-dollar companies over the last 30 years, including Amazon, Delta, and Electronic Arts, I guess that's EA, the gaming company, and Nielsen. Jensen expressed his enthusiasm as joining Ripple, saying, "I'm excited to join Ripple at a pivotal time when cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies are increasingly becoming integrated into financial services." So that's some encouraging movement in the right direction for Ripple, but it doesn't stop there. They've also got a huge SEC email, which suggests that XRP is not a security. It's not the first time we've heard this here, but evidence of internal emails from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, suggests that there are reasonable grounds to believe that XRP, the controversial cryptocurrency associated with blockchain company Ripple, does not meet all elements of the Howey test and thus might not be classified as a security. And so essentially that information was unearthed by John Deaton. So I'm not going to get into the super details of that one, but just kind of highlighting that there's two major bullish articles here for XRP. One of them that Ripple's getting a new overpowered person on the board, and that there's some new evidence that's pro XRP in that case. All right, crypto creator Charles Hoskinson comments on Ledger wallet controversy and says social contracts shouldn't be broken. Let's get into Cardano's founder's quote here about the Ledger controversy from last week. He said, "Security comes from simplicity. Design the smallest possible footprint. Non-updatable firmware is important when a company makes specific promises about their security model." And then some other things I thought were important. The hardware wallet space is the most extreme example of self-custody. We could just as easily PGP, which is pretty good privacy, encrypt some seeds and leave them in Gmail. We choose to use hardware wallets because they guarantee that the private keys stay in one place on hardware that's hard to tamper with. Don't break social contracts. So that's Charles Hoskinson's take. All right, let's keep moving here. Just a headline: Pakistan announces fresh ban on crypto, but adoption as a hedge remains popular. So, it'd be very questionable whether or not the Pakistan government really has the sophistication to ban crypto. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. But then we've got, the World Bitcoin Pizza Day 2023 is an iconic day. They scared the crap out of me, Tim. I didn't.
That's what I'm here for. You're gonna get the crap scared out of you for a lot over the next couple of weeks. So I'm just starting
That's
you
true.
early. The less crap you
That's
have
true.
in you, the farther you can run. Is my theory.
That is very, very true. I appreciate that. But this is just our little bookmark here saying Happy Pizza Day in the news, in the headlines section. So that is going to be nearing the end here. There's a couple more things though. Hackins Twitter has announced that Twitter Cash has suffered a governance attack, leading to a loss of 1 million and a takeover of the governance control. So that's really bad. That's really, really terrible. Piper, what are you thinking about that one?
I want to point out that's Tornado Cash, not Twitter Cash. Twitter Cash is is the next thing that Elon Musk does, and it's going to be used in Doge probably. So, but yeah, that's pretty major, man. I mean, obviously, didn't affect a whole lot of people in the U.S. because they banned everything to do with Tornado Cash, but that's major. That's major, and I actually saw that it was like he had some astronomical control. I think it was 71% or something like that. It was pretty substantial. So not good. But again, hey, those exchanges, man, you got to watch them. So
so
they're
Cash,
almost as shady as the Biden family. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Biden, let's head back over to the Brocam and start our chat here. Tim, is Biden strategically turning crypto into a platform piece? And do you feel like the momentum is going to pick up with that as Biden kind of takes aim at the crypto sector, kind of saying, "Hey, this is a tool just for rich people to get richer"? Is that going to be convincing for the public, for the electorate of the United States of America, or do people see right through this and they're like, "Hey, maybe I should look into Bitcoin now"?
Listen, he sees this. Ultimately, Biden doesn't care about anything but him. Well, I don't know if we can really say what Biden cares about. I don't know if Biden really remembers what he cares about anymore.
He doesn't.
As a whole, he just wants to be reelected. And we are seeing this is a sad reality that we knew was coming. I just was hoping it would be held off longer. Crypto is going to become a partisan thing. It used to be a bipartisan issue. It didn't really matter whether you voted Republican or Democrat. It didn't matter if you were conservative or liberal or progressive. crypto was just something that a lot of different people with a lot of different backgrounds liked. Even when we looked at politics here a year, 2 years ago, we actually saw Biden's administration himself at times has almost appeared to be pro crypto. And it was something that was like, all right, for everything else that we think he does wrong, at least he's somewhat coming out on the right side of crypto, right? Well, guess what? Elizabeth Warren put an end to that. Old Auntie Beth decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm running my platform on anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto. And we're seeing other people follow suit. This is why it's awesome that we do see a Democrat, Kennedy, running for office with the platform of being ridiculously pro-crypto. Not sure he's going to be able to win. I don't think he's going to be able to garner the support he needs. But even the statement is very, very big. When it comes to Biden, I don't think he even knows what he's saying. He is just making a comment, and he's being told by his team that all of a sudden he's a Democrat. You have to be against crypto if you're a Democrat. That needs to be your platform. But what I also wanted to, I put in chat, I said something in chat. It's the ultimate virtue signaling, because I understand from a if you don't know crypto, from an outward perspective, you could easily be like, oh, why do we care about crypto? Yeah, look at these poor people who are barely able to feed themselves. We need to make sure we protect these poor people. Well, guess what, Biden? If you cared about poor people and you cared about putting food on the table, you would stop inflating the dollar. Inflation is the ultimate steal from the poor to give to the rich move that you could ever do. And yet in this whole thing he's talking about, nowhere does he talk about stopping printing money. He just talks about he needs to make certain cuts, and he wants to make cuts to crypto trades, not other situations. You know what? Even though I love crypto and I'm going to stay away from that for a second. I'm just going to go with the ultimate virtue signaling of, if you actually cared about people, you would do the things that are good for people. And his policies when it comes to raising the debt ceiling, no, how about just stop spending money? How about we actually move responsibly? How about you play by the same rules you gave all those people, where they can't just go and take out millions of dollars of debt. They can only take a little bit, and then they ruin that. And then there's consequences for when you borrow more money than you can pay off. They get thrown in the dumpster. They get thrown out of their house. They get thrown out of, they're out on the streets. Those people have to play by budgeting rules. It's time that the government plays by the exact same rules. And he's just a walking, talking virtue signaler that makes no sense. And of course, it's also Biden, so he doesn't make sense in a lot of different things. But even on this issue, I really hope Americans look deeper into this and say, you know what? Even if you were right that we shouldn't care about crypto traders and we should care about the millions of people who live off of food support, there's a lot of things that we're doing right now that we should not be doing if we actually cared about them.
Yeah, that's a take. That's a good take, Tim. Piper, I want to throw over to you the question. You've seen a lot of these debt ceiling sagas again and again, as throughout your investing career. What is there anything different about this time, or is it just going to be business as usual? And what is the outcome? Do you think that the Republicans get what they want, or do you think that Biden gets what he wants? Or do you think that this actually could be the time, 2023, where disaster strikes and they don't pass the debt ceiling?
No, I think they're always going to pass the debt ceiling, because if they don't pass the debt ceiling, then it means that we're not able to pay our minimum interest payments. And if we can't pay our minimum interest payments, we get our IMF credit rating, national credit rating dropped, which means, it costs us more money to borrow money. And we're always going to borrow money. It's always going to be passed. It's a smoke and mirrors game. They all know it. At the end of the day, sitting there, the Democrats and Republicans behind closed doors all know that this is a big flashpoint for to push buttons on, so that it rallies up both sides. Because the biggest dream, the biggest smoke and mirrors game that the government does is to make you think that you're actually doing something by speaking your mind and hitting that button at the voting poll. That's what they do. At the end of the day, they're running their own little ploy over there, and no matter what happens, nobody gets in trouble in DC, unless you're, Trump. Then they try to get you in trouble every time you turn around. But yeah, I don't think that it's going to happen. We're going to get a debt ceiling increase. It's going to always occur, and no matter what anyone tells you, they all know they're politicians. They've been in DC long enough to know if they don't pass it, it is disaster. So it's always going to be word. Lip service to the people. That's all it is. So,
yeah, there you go. Tim?
I mean, that's it. That's what we got here. I know we got to wrap the show up here in a second. I did want to say though, go ahead, Piper, share my screen for a second because I want to make sure people understand this. It is Bitcoin Pizza Day. So what we're seeing in here, guys, I see a cheese pizza. And I'm going to admit, I don't really like this pizza to the right, but there are 0 pineapples on this pizza. I see olives, I see green peppers. I'm going to assume the chunks of red are red peppers. They also might be tomatoes, but there is no pineapple. So if you guys are getting pizza today, I'll go ahead and say I think my favorite would be pepperoni. I'm going to get a cheese pizza. You guys, if you guys love your veggies and fruits, olives are fruit, right? Olives are fruit. That might be a whole different conversation. Olives are fruit.
I don't know. That's a good question.
If you're going to put veggies, to be fair, tomatoes are fruit, and so there's already fruit there. The only fruit that belongs on pizza is tomatoes. No pineapples, no grapes, no strawberries, unless it's a dessert pizza, in which case you can put pineapple on a dessert pizza, but don't mix it with cheese and tomato sauce. That's the end of today's video. Guys, we are so thankful each and every single last one of you guys are here with us today. We're going to go and wrap it up, but if you guys enjoyed this episode and you guys love crypto, make sure you smash that like button on the way out. Make sure you are subscribed to this very fast-growing channel where we keep you guys updated every single weekday on what is happening in Bitcoin and crypto in the stocks to keep you in a place where you can invest wisely for yourself. We are the Investing Bros, the most generous crypto community out there on YouTube. With that said, though, we'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. You guys have a great day.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms News got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros.